It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, this is going to be an intense episode. We are going back to a song that is iconic. It's Jeremy by Pearl Jam, and I've heard this one, y'all. It's been a while, but I have heard this. I know that this song directly tackles the subject of suicide and mental health. So trigger warnings here, y'all. We're going to be talking about some pretty raw ideas today. So this song, Jeremy, is the third single from 10, which was Pearl Jam's debut album. The album was released in 1991, August of 1991. The group burst onto the world stage with this debut album. I was just starting high school at the time, and Pearl Jam was one of those bands among several in the alt-rock or grunge movement that I tended to hear quite a bit during those school days. Even though I wasn't really into that style of music at the time, it was ubiquitous. And so I've heard this, but it's been quite a while since I have. And I really wanted to include it here on the channel because it gives us some great fodder to talk about and to work through some of these feelings and emotions and human experiences that we all go through. Alive and Even Flow were the first two singles off of this album, and they did pretty well, but the album didn't get out of the gate very quickly. It was about a year between the album release and this single release for the song Jeremy. And the video for Jeremy, especially with all of that heavy play in the rotation that it got on MTV, was the catalyst, it seems like, that really brought the band forward and their music and their standing among their peers. Jeremy was nominated for Best Rock Song and for Best Hard Rock Performance at the Grammys that year. It didn't win, but it did win awards for this video, including Video of the Year from the MTV Video Music Awards. So this is a song that is based on two different true and sad, intertwined stories. So Jeremy Wade Dell was a teenager from Richardson, Texas, and sadly he killed himself in front of his classmates on the morning of January 8th, 1991. The other story that informs this song is one of a student named Brian that Eddie had known in junior high school. And while Brian did not take his own life, he did bring a gun to school, and he ended up, I think, shooting up one of the classrooms. I don't think anybody was in there, but he caused damage, right? And so really hard subject matter to deal with, right? Mental health and ideas of suicide. Like I said, I have heard this song over the years. I actually did review this song for my Patreon community back in August of 2022. In that review, I only had the audio at my disposal. I did not use the video during that reaction, and I was making use of my brand new camera, which I'm using now, but back at the time I had no idea how to do the focus right or the lighting right, and it just looked terrible. So because of those two things, I have not shared that reaction with all of y'all here on YouTube. It's still on my Patreon, but when I decided to bring this song to my YouTube channel, I decided that I wanted to record a brand new reaction. So that's what we're up to today. We've got Eddie Vedder on vocals. He also wrote the lyrics to this song. Mike McCready is on lead and acoustic guitar. Steve Gossard is on the rhythm guitar. Jeff Ament is on the bass and a 12-string bass. Who has a 12-string bass? That's incredible. He also wrote the music, so Jeff is responsible for the musical content here, and Eddie is responsible for the lyrics. And then we have Dave Cruzen on drums and percussion. So let's get into it, friends. Right, yeah, as I'm looking at it here, I've pulled it up on YouTube, and it says the following content may contain suicide or self-harm topics. Viewer discretion is advised. I have to click I understand and wish to proceed before I even get to see it. So it's going to be a provocative video. I know that I've seen it, but I think that it's been a long time, decades, since I've seen it. So I need to be reminded of what is all in here visually, and I want to really dig into the harmonics and the song structure here to see what we can pull out of it and then discuss. So let's get to it, friends. Here is the official video of Jeremy by Pearl Jam. Off we go. 3:30 in the afternoon.
And the news media plus a lot more.
I think those are just real,
It is very relevant
lines
in America today.
from stories, news stories, I should say. So I remember this opening, iconic. I wonder if that's a 12-string bass. I think it's all on the bass with those harmonics.
At home, drawing pictures of mountaintops.
So it's an
with him on top, lemon yellow sun, arms raised in a beam.
arms raised to the feet.
The deadly in pools of
Maroon below. That's what he drew.
Daddy didn't give attention, to the fact that mommy didn't care.
Daddy didn't give attention to the fact that mommy didn't care. King Jeremy the Wicked ruled this world, ruled his world. Look at Daddy. Forget how intense his eyes are in this. Jeremy spoke in class today. Are the words there?
Picking on the boy seemed a harmless little fuck. But we unleashed the lion.
This may be referring to the different story.
How could I forget? And he hit me with the surprise left. My jaw left her.
Great little riff supporting that.
Dropped wide open. Just like the
Goes to the subtonic. Back to the pre-chorus. He's there with his parents and they're just talking back and forth and not even present emotionally for him, right? And it lands on A major. It's been an A major, but that's an F. Major 1, I think it's like down to flat 6, then minor 4 to minor 5, and then a major 1. It keeps landing on that major tonic. Try to forget this, try to erase this from the blackboard. Major 3rd, I'll be darned. I used to think that he was saying spoken, Jeremy spoken, like the word Jeremy spoken, but it's Jeremy spoke in, I-N, class, today. Look at his eyes. He is neglect. It's like nobody sees him. Like Eddie's eyes are so intense, but he's never looking at the camera, right? He never connects. And that might be what they're depicting. So they're I must have blocked that out. I can't believe they showed that. It's like everything's frozen in that moment. I hate guns, y'all. I've said that before. I cannot stand guns. I don't want to be around them. I don't think they have any place in modern society. I just hate them. So whenever I see one being used, really no matter what the situation, but especially in a situation like that, I get a catch in my throat, you know? It takes on a whole different meaning as a 40-something-year-old man versus like a freshman or sophomore in high school. I have the gift of perspective and experience and, you know, years lived to fall back on. You know, as a young person, you might not have that grounding, especially if you don't get really good connection and leadership and love and empathy from your parents, from your family. What a song. What a song. I know it was just a couple years ago that I heard it again for the channel, but it's almost like hearing it for the first time, anew. It's so raw, you know? Eddie provided a statement in an interview with Seattle Sound magazine back in March of 2009 that sheds more light on how he approached this topic in the lyrics of the song. This is also on the Wikipedia page for this song. And this is the quote. He says, "It came from a small paragraph in a paper, which means you kill yourself and you make a big old sacrifice and try to get your revenge. That all you're going to end up with is a paragraph in a newspaper. 64 degrees and cloudy in a suburban neighborhood. That's the beginning of the video, and that's the same thing in the end. It does nothing. Nothing changes. The world goes on and you're gone. The best revenge is to live on, improve yourself, be stronger than those people, and then you can come back." Yeah. You know, such a tragic story, and it deserves so much in terms of language and storytelling and time for us to dwell on it. And in the end, it just becomes a blip on one day's newspaper page. And then we wake up the next day for the next story that either makes us numb to humanity and life, or that does more to drive us crazy. And, you know, all these years later, it's, you know, the news is still traumatizing us, at least me. You know, whenever I really get into it and I'm looking at whether it's climate change or it's strife and wars around the world, or just people being awful to other people, it weighs on me. I also know that there are stories upon stories of great things happening, you know, and it's just this dichotomy in which we live. Over the years, y'all, I've heard quite a few disparaging comments about this type of music, rock music or grunge or metal music, saying that it's just noise, or that it's not musically worthy of our time or attention. And as I'm now, doing, I can't remember which episode that is, but I've got more than 800 episodes here on YouTube, and I've heard mostly music from these genres here in this series, and I can tell you that this type of thinking is complete bullshit. I may, in my earlier life, have thought that, or thought a little bit like that, but I don't anymore. I have found great courage from rock and roll and metal musicians in discussing difficult topics, like this song does. I don't hear too many pop songs taking on the gravitas and the deep emotional turmoil like I do in metal and prog and rock music. And, time and time again, I've come away from music that I've reviewed for the channel with just opened eyes and an awe about it, a deeper understanding about what they're trying to do. Yes, the music can be loud. Yes, it can be aggressive and even occasionally strident to hear. But the sounds and words that are used in some of these songs just absolutely cut right through the BS, and get right to the heart of this universal human topic. When we feel depressed, when we feel down, when we are, like Jeremy here, mocked or publicly made fun of, how do we emotionally respond? How do we respond in both our thoughts and actions? What do we do when we are presented with that kind of emotional, chicanery? This song and the tragic story at its heart reminds me of the consequences of extreme responses to these stimuli, right? In considering this topic, I'm reminded of the adage, this too shall pass. I'm sure y'all have heard that, right? It's similar to me to the idea that everything in moderation. This too shall pass, or everything in moderation. Meaning that no matter how we're feeling right now, whether it be immense joy or just spirit-breaking sadness, nothing lasts forever. Not even this. Even this is temporary. And, a few days ago, I had a really big panic attack. I've been struggling with that a little bit more in recent years. And, Megan was there, and she was there to breathe with me. And before too long, I was feeling better, and it passed. I just had to just calm down, and breathe and just let it be there. And then let it pass. It'll ebb, and whatever is happening to us in the current moment, it'll pass. I get sad when joy subsides, and I get happy when sadness subsides. I also don't want to be just right in the middle. I want to experience those emotions. I want to get the full sequence, the full strata of the human experience. And sometimes it's just really hard. This is a great thing for us to remember by, Jeremy here, this song, its rawness, its directness, it provokes us to dwell on this topic. And even if it's just for a few moments, I think it's good to dip into these topics and these emotions when we're not right in the middle of them, because we have a little bit better perspective. And if we practice doing that and thinking about it and then coming back and thinking about it and coming back, we can be better prepared with tools to fight them, when they come and when they're intense and present right in front of us. What a band. What a song, y'all. It's an amazing thing. I know that I've seen the video, but it's been, I think, decades. And I must have blocked out all that was happening in that, because it came as quite a shock when I was witnessing it here. So, an important song, y'all. Sometimes these are when we do these episodes, they're fun, and I'm dancing around, and I've got the shaker, and we're just making jokes a little bit. We're just enjoying life. But sometimes, y'all, and this is why music is so important for us. It helps kind of put a timeout on everything, and it allows us to kind of feel a thought, feel an emotion, think an emotion, and dwell on it for just a few minutes, and then the song concludes. We can think back on it and then move on from that and be better for it. So I think I'm better for it. I hope y'all are as well. These are tricky songs, especially this week that we're going into. You know, we were dealing with some domestic abuse on Monday, and we're going to be looking at Helter Skelter on Friday. So a heavy week, but wow, an iconic song on a very important topic. I thank you for being with me today and for going on this sort of emotional journey with me. It's cathartic for me to talk about it, especially in a context like this. So thank y'all for your support and for watching along and for taking the voyage emotionally with me. I really appreciate it. We'll be back with more music on the next episode, but I believe that is all for today, my friends. I thank you again, and we'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.